Hi, I'm Helen. Welcome to Helen's House and Garden. Today I'm going to be cooking sourdough pancakes with a dipping sauce. To cook sourdough pancakes you will need your sourdough starter. So I've got Gordon here, some salt and pepper, some vegetable oil is the one I'm going to use to cook. Obviously use an oil of your preference. I've got for a topping some toasted sesame seeds, and I've been out in the garden earlier and picked some chives and just snipped up a few chives and put them in a little bowl there. You're going to need a frying pan with a spatula. For the dipping sauce you will need some dark soy sauce, extra virgin olive oil, some dark balsamic vinegar, and some chipotle Tabasco sauce, a ramekin dish, all similar to put the sauce in. We're not making huge amounts. A spoon to stir everything up and give it a good mix, and it doesn't hurt to have a good old-fashioned tea towel handy as well. Dipping sauces are quite easy to make, and you can actually freestyle them if you use a fat. So we've got olive oil, an acid, so that's a vinegar, and you can use all the different varieties. Just use your favourite type of vinegar. For extra flavour I've got some chipotle Tabasco sauce. This one has a smoky flavour and there's not much heat to it, although it does have some chilli in there. And then a good all-round addition is soy sauce. Again, you can use dark or light soy sauce, whatever your taste buds tell you to use. I'm not going to make a lot, and I just generally eye it in. So the biggest ingredient you want, probably about 2 tablespoons of your soy sauce. You don't need lots of fat and you don't need lots of acid in there. So for this type of measure I would say just 2 teaspoons of olive oil. There we go. If you put too much vinegar in it can be a bit too sharp. Balsamic is quite a calm tasting vinegar and it has a good depth of flavour. 1 teaspoon is absolutely plenty. You can go a little bit short on that. And with your Tabasco, again it's a thing to taste. People like very, very smoky, and other people don't like it so smoky. Give the bottle a good shake, because these ones do tend to settle, and then just literally a few drops in there like that. Give everything a really good stir. I mean, with oil and vinegar it does take a little bit of stirring to incorporate everything. And taste it, see what you think. If you don't like the balance, you can always go back and pop something else in there to top it up. So if you haven't got enough Tabasco, not enough smokiness, pop a few more drops in. That one's perfect, a really nice kind of umami flavour to that one. So dipping sauce ready, let's go on and make the pancake. To cook your sourdough pancake you want to pop your frying pan on about 3/4 of the heat on your particular oven top. So for me that's number 7. And then we're going to add a decent amount of vegetable oil into the pan. And then we just let that heat up. You can tell when oil is hot because it starts to move away to the edges of the pan, so we're just going to wait for that to happen. So you can just see that the heat is moving the oil to the edges of the pan. We're not quite ready yet, but at this stage grab your sourdough starter, give it a stir, and then it will be almost ready to start pouring into the pan to cook. You can see now that the oil's changing consistency of how it looks and moves in the pan, and actually So cooking is about using your senses, so you can smell oil when it starts to get hot. So we're nearly ready. The oil's moving much more fluidly around the pan, so that's a good sign that the pan is hot. And there's a kind of a ripply effect going on with the oil if you just tilt the pan. So we're good to go on there. So I stirred the sourdough starter, and I'm just going to pour straight into the centre of the pan. And there you go, that's about enough. You can move the sourdough around the pan. So it's just like making any other type of pancake. We're going to let that cook. You want it nice and crispy on each side. This is a good point to add in your seasoning, so we're going to add some salt. And some pepper. Just using black pepper. And you add that to taste. And then also the chives, which I picked from the garden earlier. Just sprinkle those on top. Make sure you get all of them. And some sesame seeds as well. So I'm just going to sprinkle them straight from the jar. Again, just put on the amount that you would like to have. So I think I'll leave that about there. You can see that the pancake's starting to cook. We've got bubbling coming up and it's just cooking through nicely. So looking underneath, it's quite blonde in colour at the moment, and we want to take the pancake to a nice golden colour. Ideally you just want to turn it once, so this is a game of patience, but you'll see as it starts to cook the colour goes a lot more solid looking, and this isn't cooked, this is more pale looking here. So the pancake will cook from the edges towards the centre. If you give it a shake, you can see that some of the pancake is still a little bit liquid and not cooked, so it's not ready to turn yet. I'm just lifting it just to ensure that it's not sticking to the pan. Give it a shake. So we're all good, it's moving nice and freely. Pancake's been cooking a couple of minutes now and it's nearly ready to turn. We've got a little bit of uncooked sourdough starter on the top, but generally the colour's turning a little bit more creamy looking and it's a lot more solid on the top, and you've got these crumpety air bubbles popping through. It's going to be a really nice pancake. We can check underneath. Starting to have a goldeny colour, so we're going to turn it in one. At this stage you can actually pop a tiny bit more oil into the pan to ensure that the top doesn't stick. Just easing it off the bottom. There we go, nice and sliding around the pan. It's not sticking at all. And if you want to check to see how it's cooking so you don't burn it, you can just lift it up slightly, have a peek underneath. There we go, almost ready. And I'd say that's done right there. You can smell that the pancake is ready to eat. Sourdough starter pancake is ready and I'm going to serve it up by just popping it onto a chopping board. Scrape out some of those yummy sesame seeds which are still stuck in the pan. Don't want to waste those. And we have nice and crispy on the top, nice and crispy on the bottom. Hear that crunch? and we want a consistency which it's crunchy top and bottom, and it's going to be slightly chewy in the middle. So let's have a try. And I'm not going to forget the dipping sauce which we made earlier. So let's have a go on this. Nice crunch. Nice and chewy in the middle. That's going to be delicious. Give this one a go. Let me know how you get on with it. If you have any questions, please hit me up in the comments and I'll do my best to answer any of your questions. If you like this video, please like, share, subscribe, ring the bell for updates, and I'll be back with more recipes and more things that I do in my house and garden. Take care.